Hello there and welcome back. In this video we are going to talk about Makrell module, and it's basically a family of programming languages implemented in Python which consists of Makrell P, Mron, which is the Makrell object notation, MRML, which is the Makrell markup language, and the Makrell base format, which is a simple data format that forms the basis for both Makrell P, Mron, and MRML. So let's jump right into it. What we have to do is the following. I'm going to make this a bit bigger, and first we are going to create a virtual environment called Makrelling, or let's create a directory Makrell, and inside the Makrell directory we create the virtual env Makrelling, and now we can activate it. And after activation we could use the pip install Makrell, and we are going to take a look at what this language has to provide us, so to speak. If we want, we can open up the interpreter. So let's clear out this window, and if we issue the Makrell, it will give us an error because with the dependencies, for whatever reason, the regex is not installed, but we have to install the regex, and now it should be fine. So let's issue the Makrell command, and we have the REPL, and this is the read, evaluate, print loop that we are used to from Python. We only have one greater than sign instead of three, and here we can do basic math, we can do some summary of items. So this is going to be a list, and we have to pipe it to the sum function. So let's do that, and here we can see the sum of these. We also have basically everything that you would expect from a basic Python installation. We can create variables, we can create variables based on other variables, and if we print the values, you can see this also works. We can create function calls. These have a, let's say, interesting syntax. So we say that we want the sum of A, B, and 5, and if we issue it, you can see that we have summarized basically our list. We also have conditional expressions. So basically, if I say if A is less than B, then we would like to print A is less than B. Otherwise, we would like to print A is greater than B, and close the curly braces. And it says that if is not defined. Let's see, maybe there was a syntax error. So if A is less than B, then A is less than B. Otherwise, A is greater than B. Great, so you cannot have white space before the if. We can also define functions, and what's interesting in the functions, so let's say fun my function, is that the last statement in a function definition is the return statement. So we say that this my function takes a variable which is called a, and we say that it would return a plus 10. Let's close the braces. And if we say my function and call it, so my function 3, then you can see 10 plus 3 is 13. We have the option to have operators as functions. So for example, if we have the a equals to expression and we want to use the pipe symbol and go ahead and say underscore, no underscore, plus 3, then what it would mean is that we have the following result. A is 5. What we can also do is to multiply this by another value, so curly braces times, so curly braces times 5, and in that case you can see that the value of a is 25. We also have assert statement, so let's assert that. What should we assert? A is equal to 30, and we have to use the curly braces. Then you can see that we don't have the result. We have option to define macros, which is going to compose, let's say, a sequence of functions, and let's say further examples. So we have something which is called interoperability. So let's exit the shell, and here in my Makrell folder, what I would like to do is to create a interop folder, and inside the interop folder what I want to do is to define a main.py file, and in the main.py we import Makrell, and from mrcal we import add and multiply, and we say that a is add 2 multiplied 3 and 5, and we print running main.p, and let's concatenate the a, which is the result. Let's save it, and now what we want to do is to define the mrcacal. So mrcacal.mr. So for the Makrell we have the mr extension, and we want to import the pycalc and add, and we say that we want the mule, and close the curly braces, and then we define our function, which is add, and it takes x and y, and it will return x plus y, and close the curly braces, and we want to use the print function running mrcalc.mr, and we want to call the add function with 2 and 3 and close the curly braces. So now what we want to do is to define the PyCalc. So vi PyCalc.py, and we have the multiply function x and y, and it will return x times y. Let's save it. And now we can use the Makrell with the mrcalc.mr. And as you can see, we have successfully called the function. So basically, we can we have interoperability between Python scripts and the Makrell scripts. What else do we have? Let's see an example for the Makrell markup language. So here, what we want to do is to create the mkdir mrml, and now we can create our index.mrml. And this is going to be the markup language demonstration. So we have an HTML, and this HTML has a head, and this head has a title, and we call this a test. And this HTML has a body, and this body has, what should it have? It has an h1 tag, which is this is also a test, and has a paragraph, so p1 or just simply p, and it has a style with the color red, and we say that just some be bold text here, and we close it. So this was the index.mrml, and what we want to do is to use this template. So how do we use it? We have the main.mr, and basically what we would like to do is to import the Makrell.io, and from here we have the read file and the write file. These are functions, and we want to import the Makrell.mrml, and from here we want to import the parse to XAML. I think I made a typo, and we have a source file which is going to be read, and it's called index.mrml, and we have a XAML file which is going to be parsed to XAML, and this is going to be the source, and we have a path which is called html/index.html, and we want to use the write file on the path with the XAML, and we want to print wrote path, And for this to work, we have to create a directory called HTML. And if everything goes well, we can use the Makrell main.ml, execute it, and if we check the HTML, index.html, you can see that the data or the template was populated and it was converted to an HTML. So there are really fun things that you can do with this concept, and there are many more examples. I will link the documentation in the description of this video. Even if it's not something that you will use in production, I think it's pretty fun to try or experiment with different concepts. So technically that was all. See you in the next one.